Five things you must stop to start winning. Do you ever feel like you're sprinting on a treadmill, but your life scenery never, ever changes? You got these massive, incredible goals, this vision of the person you want to become, but you're stuck fighting the same battles every single day. You're wrestling with that voice in your head that says you're not good enough. You're putting things off until a tomorrow that somehow never shows up. You're exhausted from the constant pressure to be someone you're not. If you feel like you're perpetually on the verge of a breakthrough, but some invisible force keeps yanking you back, I need you to listen closely. This isn't just another motivational speech. This is your guide to shattering the five toxic habits that are secretly sabotaging your success. These are the chains that are often too weak to be felt until they are too strong to be broken. But today we're breaking them. Let's start with the very first thing you have to stop if you're serious about winning. Step 1. Stop listening to that voice in your head. First up, you have to stop listening to that voice in your head. I know, it sounds dramatic, but we all have it. It's that relentless inner critic, that little narrator in your mind that seems to have a PhD in your every flaw, mistake, and insecurity. It's the voice that whispers, you're definitely going to mess this up right before a huge presentation. It's the one that screams, see, told you so, the second you hit a setback. It's the automatic negative thought track that plays on a loop in the background of your life. Here's the truth you need to grab onto. That voice is not you, and it is not reality. Those thoughts are just thoughts. They're old, dusty neurological habits, patterns etched in your brain from past failures, from what society expects, and maybe from things people told you about yourself a long time ago. They are echoes, not orders. The problem is we treat them like gospel. We let this inner critic drive the car, and it will, without fail, steer us directly into a ditch of self doubt. So, how do you fire this critic? First, practice a little mindfulness. This doesn't mean you have to sit in a silent room for hours. It's about becoming the observer of your thoughts, not the victim. Picture yourself sitting by a river. Each thought is just a leaf floating by. You see it, you acknowledge it. Ah, there's that I'm not good enough leaf again, and then you just let it float on by. You don't have to jump in the river and wrestle the leaf. This tiny bit of space you create between you and the thought, that's where your power is. Second, put that critic on trial. This is a technique from cognitive behavioral therapy. When that voice attacks, you become a detective. It says, you'll never finish this project. You're a total failure. Instead of just accepting it, you cross examine the thought. Is that really true? What's the evidence? Haven't I finished hard things before? What's one small step I can take right now to prove this thought is a liar? You'll quickly find your inner critic is a terrible lawyer with a case built on emotion, not facts. And finally, get it out of your head and onto paper. Write those negative thoughts down. When you see your fears written in black and white, something amazing happens. They shrink. They lose their monstrous, shadowy power. Sometimes they even look a little ridiculous. Try this. Write down the most persistent negative thought and then physically throw the paper away. Crumple it up, toss it. It's a symbolic act that tells your brain, I'm done with this. Winning begins the moment you decide who gets the microphone. Stop handing it to the one who only knows how to tear you down. Section 2, stop believing the lies it tells you. This leads perfectly to the second habit you have to break. It's one thing to hear the voice, it's another thing entirely to believe it. You have to stop believing the lies it tells you. Your inner critic isn't just a heckler, it's a master storyteller, spinning these elaborate, convincing tales of your own inadequacy. And these stories are built on what psychologists call cognitive distortions. They're lies. Lies like catastrophizing, where one small mistake becomes a life ending disaster. You send one email with a typo, and your brain convinces you you're getting fired, you'll be homeless by Friday, and your life is basically over. That's a lie. Or black and white thinking, where everything is either a massive success or a complete failure. If your new workout plan isn't perfect, you don't see a minor slip up. You see proof that you're fundamentally undisciplined and will never be healthy. That's a lie. Or personalization, where you assume anything that goes wrong is automatically your fault. A coworker is in a bad mood and you're instantly convinced it's because of something you did. Lie. These lies feel true because they're wrapped in powerful emotions like fear and shame, but they are just stories. So, how do you stop believing them? First, learn to spot them. When you feel that pang of anxiety, pause and ask, what story am I telling myself right now? Which lie is this? Naming the distortion is the first step to disarming it. Next, you fight fiction with facts. You replace the lie with a more balanced, realistic statement. This isn't about toxic positivity. It's about finding the objective truth. The lie says, I failed the test, so I'm stupid. The truth is, I didn't get the score I wanted on this one test. That doesn't define my intelligence. What can I learn from this? The lie says, everyone else has it all figured out. The truth is, I am on my own journey and I'm only seeing other people's highlight reels, not their bloopers. And finally, build a fortress of truth around you. Talk to a trusted friend, a mentor, a therapist. Sometimes we're too deep in our own heads to see the lies. Saying, I think I'm a complete failure because my presentation had a typo, out loud to a friend who then looks at you like you've grown a second head, is a fantastic reality check. Winning isn't about never hearing the lies. It's about developing the wisdom to never believe them again. Step 3. Stop letting negativity run the show. The third habit we need to crush is the whole vibe of negativity. You have to stop letting negative thoughts and words dominate your life. This goes beyond the inner critic. This is about the general climate of your mind and the words you speak. Think of your mindset like a garden. If you constantly water it with pessimism, complaining, and focusing on what's wrong, you will grow a garden of weeds. But if you water it with gratitude, encouragement, and constructive language, you will cultivate strength. A negative mindset is a self fulfilling prophecy. When you're always thinking, this is too hard, or nothing ever works out for me, you are literally programming your brain to look for proof that you're right. You're telling your subconscious to tap out before you even start. It drains your energy, kills your motivation, and makes you blind to opportunities. So, how do we change the climate? First, you become a master of the reframe. It's about consciously swapping destructive statements for constructive ones. Instead of, I can't handle this, you say, I will handle this one step at a time. Instead of, I'm so bad at this, you try, this is a new skill for me, and I'm learning. You're not denying reality, you're affirming your ability to handle it. You're talking to yourself like a coach, not a critic. Second, you practice aggressive gratitude. Gratitude is the ultimate antidote to negativity. You literally can't complain and be grateful at the same time. Start a simple daily habit. Every morning or every night, name 3 specific things you're grateful for. I'm grateful for how my coffee tasted. I'm grateful for that funny text from my friend. I'm grateful for this bed. Finally, you have to curate your environment because negativity is contagious. If you're surrounded by people who complain and gossip, their mindset will seep into yours. You have to be the ruthless gatekeeper of your mind. This might mean spending less time with certain people. It definitely means curating your social media. Unfollow accounts that make you feel like crap. Follow people who inspire and teach you. You decide what gets in. And hey, if you're finding this helpful, let me know in the comments which of these habits hits closest to home for you. Your story matters, and if you want to keep building a winning mindset, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Section 4. Stop procrastinating, putting it off, and quitting. All right, let's talk about the silent killer of dreams. The fourth thing you must stop starting right now is procrastinating. And let's be clear, procrastination is not a time management problem. It's not about being lazy. Procrastination is an emotion management problem. We put off a task not because we don't want to do it, but because the task makes us feel bad. We feel overwhelmed by its size. We feel anxious about not doing it perfectly. We're afraid of failing. So, to avoid those bad feelings, we escape to something easy and distracting, like scrolling our phone. The problem is that relief is a trap. It's a short term fix for a long term pain. Every time you procrastinate, you reinforce the belief that you can't handle discomfort and you chip away at your trust in yourself. That task doesn't disappear, it just gets bigger and scarier. So, how do we break this cycle? First, make it ridiculously small. Our brains see a huge goal like write the report and just shut down. The secret is to break it down into tiny, non threatening steps. Don't write the report, just open a new document and write a title. That's it. That's the win. The next step is write 3 bullet points for the intro. You make it so easy to start that it feels silly not to. This builds momentum, and momentum is the cure for procrastination. Second, use the 5 minute rule. Commit to working on that dreaded task for just 5 minutes. Anyone can do anything for 5 minutes. Set a timer. The magic here is that starting is always the hardest part. Once you're 5 minutes in, you'll often find it wasn't as bad as you imagined, and you'll want to keep going. And even if you don't, hey, you did 5 minutes. You kept the promise to yourself. Win. Finally, and this might sound backward, you have to practice self compassion. Most of us think the way to beat procrastination is to be harder on ourselves. Just do it, you lazy bum. But research shows the exact opposite is true. Beating yourself up just adds shame to the mix, which makes you more likely to procrastinate to avoid feeling that shame. When you slip up, treat yourself like you would a good friend. Okay, I got sidetracked. It happens. Let's just reset and focus on the next tiny step. Winners aren't people who never feel the urge to procrastinate. They're people who have the tools to act anyway. Step 5. Stop trying to be someone else. You are unique. This brings us to our fifth and final habit, the one that's become an epidemic in our hyper-connected world. You must stop trying to be like someone else because you are unique. At the heart of this is the thief of all joy, comparison. There's a reason we do this. It's a baked in human tendency. But social media has put it on steroids. Every time you open your phone, you are hit with a fire hose of curated highlight reels. You see the perfect vacations, the dream jobs, the flawless bodies, and even though you know it's not the full story, your emotional brain doesn't care. It just measures your messy behind the scenes reality against their polished final product. This is devastating. It breeds envy and inadequacy and makes you feel like you're always falling behind. It pulls your focus away from your own path and onto someone else's, wasting your time and energy. Trying to win someone else's race is a guaranteed way to lose your own. So, how do you reclaim your power? First, practice mindful social media. This doesn't mean you have to delete everything. Just be intentional. Before you open an app, ask, why am I doing this? Am I trying to connect, or am I just looking for a distraction that will probably make me feel worse? Unfollow anyone who consistently makes you feel bad about yourself, period. Fill your feed with people who inspire and teach you. Second, turn your focus inward and define your own success. Get out a journal and answer this: what does a winning life look like to me? Maybe your version of winning isn't a corner office, but more time with your family. Maybe it's not a six pack, but a body that's strong enough for adventure. When you have a clear personal definition of success, what other people are doing becomes either an inspiration or just irrelevant. Finally, practice self acceptance and celebrate your own progress. You are not a project to be fixed, you are a person to be accepted. Instead of measuring yourself against others, measure yourself against who you were yesterday. Start a progress journal. Write down your small wins, the lessons you've learned. When you focus on your own growth, the noise of comparison fades. You realize the only person you're competing with is the person you were yesterday. Winning isn't about being better than everyone else. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. So let's bring it all home. The 5 toxic habits you're going to stop right now so you can start winning. Number 1, stop listening to that voice in your head. You are the observer, not the prisoner. Number 2, stop believing the lies it tells you. Challenge them with facts. Number 3, stop letting negativity run the show. Cultivate gratitude instead. Number 4, stop procrastinating. Break it down, use the 5-minute rule, and be kind to yourself. And number 5, stop trying to be someone else. Run your own race. Breaking these habits isn't a one-time thing, it's a daily practice. It's a conscious choice made over and over to choose courage over comfort, action over avoidance, and your own authentic path over anyone else's. The journey to the winner's circle begins the moment you decide to stop being your own worst enemy and start becoming your own greatest champion. You have everything you need. The only thing holding you back are the habits you are now ready to break. The winning starts now. Go get it. Remember, to keep building a winning mindset, make sure you hit that subscribe button and watch this next video.